We had a hurricane about a year ago, and it left a lot of water on the roadways, 18 inches to maybe 2 feet. We went to go visit in the Jeep some of our friends who were stranded or just to check on them, and we had a really hard time getting around. So we decided that we needed another vehicle, something a little more capable to deal with these kind of situations and for the adventures that we had decided that we were going to take. So we decided to get ourselves a 2008 FJ Cruiser. It was used, but it was in pretty good condition. I wanted to add bumper lights to the FJ, so I ended up taking off the front bumper and grille, which was quite a learning experience. But then we assembled it all back together, and it looks great. Then I put on the front spotlights and a side awning. The problem ended up being that Janet liked that thing way too much. She kind of commandeered it. But no, I still wanted my own FJ. So we sold the Jeep and got ourselves a 2007 FJ and proceeded to modify them to meet our specifications. During this time, Joey the Wonder Dog joined our adventures. I wanted to install one of our electric coolers in the back of this FJ. As you can see, there's a considerable amount of room, but it can get kind of cramped kind of fast. So I was going to build a unit to support it. I started fitting a basic cabinet inside the truck. Then I took it inside and started doing all the work in my living room. I set this up to accommodate our double gas grill. I started working on the center drawers to accommodate other miscellaneous items. After the frame and shelving were all complete, I installed it in the back of the FJ. At this point, I wanted to install a drawer to contain all of our pots and pans. After the drawer was complete, I finished covering the whole thing in truck bed liner. Next, I installed a mount for the jerry can gasoline can. I installed fog lamps in the front of this FJ. The covers are removable so I can have yellow or white light depending on the weather. I installed a 12-volt water pump and used quick connectors so I could connect my hoses to them. There was some room in the upper left engine compartment and I wanted to install an auxiliary battery. I have the battery hooked up to the alternator with an isolator in between. There's also solar connected to it as well, so the batteries don't drain each other. This is what the inside of the cab looks like. Got a GMRS radio, got a ham radio, I also have a CB. After installing all of the light switches, I installed meters to measure the battery voltage so I knew what was going on at every given time. And to the right of that is a switch that connects the battery, so if my main battery goes dead, I've still got auxiliary to start the truck. One of the things I was concerned with was the valves on the transmission and the differential. They easily can suck in water if the transmission or differential get cold too fast. So I removed the valves and connected with hoses up to the engine compartment so that the venting would be up inside the engine much higher. That will deal with the high water like some of the things we experienced during the hurricane. I used tin snips on the metal in the back of a flat screen television and made myself what I would call light mounts that I was going to put on the roof rack. I used rock lights. I had mounted some previously underneath the truck, and I liked the way they were. It didn't use too much power, so I figured that I'd mount them on the roof. The lights were really bright, and I was happy with that. I also added a tent, a spoiler, and an axe. So now that that's all done and our camps are ready, let's do some overlanding.
You know, it's a dead end thing. Only people that have the key can go. You know, it's going to be like a road well traveled, like the other one. Boat road.
We hope you enjoyed this adventure. And to answer that question, are we crazy? Yes, like a fox.